Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Juicy Fruity deck profile. This is the new Lyrical Monasterio deck that was released in the Dragon Soul Resonance booster set. A very unique lyrical deck that focuses on being able to call out plant tokens from the Stoicheia Nation. We've been getting a bunch of different lyrical decks that just focus on being able to utilize aspects from other nations in the game. We had the Artisaria or the Lock deck for Lyrical, implementing also the Shadow Army tokens for that deck, and now we have the Tuarina deck that focuses on calling out plant tokens for the deck also. So a very interesting take on a deck for Lyrical Monasterio. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Ride deck, we have the Energy Generator with our Grade 0 being Juicy Fruity Manda Rinda. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our Grade 1 is Juicy Fruity Apple Lelen. When placed by riding from Juicy Fruity Manda Rinda, reveal Grade 3 with Juicy Fruity and its card name from your ride deck. Call a plant token to rearguard. So it just helps to set up the plant tokens already with the ride deck. And our Grade 2, which is Juicy Fruity Nana Banana. When placed by riding from Juicy Fruity Apple Lelen, reveal a Grade 3 with Juicy Fruity and its card name from your ride deck. Call it a plant token to rearguard. So just having the placed and placed again for both of them to give you more and more pressure for both of the plant tokens you can call out thanks to this card. And then our Grade 3 being Juicy Fruity Tuarina, along with the copy we run in the ride deck. We run 3 additional copies in the main deck also. All of your plant tokens get plus 5,000, and for each card with the same card name as this unit in your soul, they also get plus 5,000. So added power for each of your Tuarina. So the more you persona ride, the better your plant tokens get as well. And then just a plus 5 to them in general, making them 10k bodies on their own. And on the Vanguard Circle once per turn, you can Soul Blast 1, call up to 2 plant tokens to rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater and you have 4 more rearguards, this unit gets triple drive to end of turn. So that's where the real pressure with this card comes in, being able to just have triple drive by having a good variety of rearguards. And also, on Vanguard, once per turn, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, call a plant token to rearguard, and it gets, on rearguard, this unit gets the trigger effects that your Vanguard gets, and auto, when this unit is returned from hand to hand from rearguard, draw a card until end of turn. So just the added playstyle as well for the trigger, and then also just having the bounce power to draw off of that card as well. Utilizes other gameplay cards in the deck that we use also, including our one Grade 2, which is Grazing Charm Dainty. When placed on rearguard with a token unit, you can Counterblast 1 or Soul Blast 2, draw a card. If you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard, it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. So draw power by calling over the plant tokens just with this Grade 2. And when a token unit is placed on rearguard, this unit on your Vanguard's ability, put this card into the hand. So add back power as well when the unit is returned to the hand, and being able to then reuse Dainty also after calling a token unit over it. So it works both ways for the token setup and then the rearguard setup of this card. So definite 4 of, because then you also have the option for soul blasting instead of counterblasting, depending on what resources you have to be able to use to do so. Other Grade 2s include the 4 copies of 7 Hues Bridge Luciel for the Persona Shield power to just have more of a defense against your opponent by being able to add the Persona Shield ticket to your hand, and then the plus 5 power when this unit attacks a Grade 3 or greater unit, so the additional 15k power on its own also. The next spot in the deck can be depending on what you have. I have 2 copies of Loving Pink Friendset and 2 copies of Dazzling Bubble Paradise Pressia, which works with the Energy Blast power to draw off of Pressia, and then the bounce power of Friendset as well. But depending on what you want to run, you can go 4 and 4 or just keep it at the 2 and 2 mark with all of these cards also for your units to use. And then for the Grade 2s additionally, 4 copies of Blow Ball Message Porion with this card on rearguard or hand. At the end of the guard step of the battle, your Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Juicy Fruity and its card name attacked or being attacked, you can put this card into the soul, choose a unit being attacked, and it gets plus 10,000 to the end of battle. So you have the option from either the rearguard or the hand. So if you have to call this card out to attack with, being able to then use the option at the guard step to put this card into the soul, and then just have the additional plus 10k shield instead of just the plus 5 that this card would have provided just by being an interceptor against your opponent. For the Grade 1s, we run 4 copies of Breathtaking Production Navity When this card is discarded from hand during your turn, you may put it into the soul. And at the end of the battle, this unit boosted a token. You put this unit into the soul and countercharge 1. So having the added option for being able to get back some of your counterblast comes in handy, because then you use the counterblast when Taurina attacks to get the additional token on the rear guard, which has the continuous effect for the trigger effects of your Vanguard, and then also when returned from hand to rear guard, drawing a card. So just having the added boost of that unit to give you a counterblast to make up for those cards that you may also use against your opponent to do so. And then also the 4 copies of Cooling Heart Eureka. When your other unit in the same column as this one is placed, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted to a rear guard. Soul Blast 1, choose one of the boosted rear guards and return to the hand. So this comes in handy because we have the other ability of Taurina, which says when this unit is returned from the hand to rear guard, draw a card. So you're giving that power to the token. You use Eureka for the added bounce power of that token, because then you can have the draw off of the token that you returned off Eureka, which really you don't really have any other option for the tokens in the deck. They can't be used as defensive power like Roroa, and they're mostly just there as additional rear guards to be able to easily call out with the Vanguard. And then also we have the additional grade 1 spots, which I'm running 1 copy of Beware of Overeating Eileen and the 1 copy of Rainbow Jeweled Beasts, Kilpraise, with the option for when it's placed on rear guard, being able to put back cards from your ride deck, which we had the other cards. We want to keep the Taurina, but then we have the other Juicy Fruity grades 0 through 2 to be able to place back with this card, to choose a card of the same card name as your Vanguard from your Sorrow drop and put into the hand, which is really just more add back power to then be able to Persona Ride and get more of the grade 3s into the soul, or the plus 15k shield that all of the Jewel Beast monsters have when putting back cards in the ride deck. And then the Beware of Overeating Eileen just helps for more of when it boosts to rear guard to look at the top card of your deck and put on the top or bottom to kind of set up the additional rear guards to be able to use. And then the rest of the grade 1s being the 4 copies of our Sentinel, being Best Served Hot Warmia, just the Sentinel of choice. If you wanted to run Elementary Sanctitude, just drop down 1 copy of the Sentinel for that Blitz order. With our Regalis piece in the deck being the Radiance Caliburn, you perform one of the following. You draw 2 cards, or put this card into the soul to countercharge 1. So draw power, or just more soul and countercharge buildup that we really do need in the deck, because with cards like our Dainty or Taurina, you're really counterblasting a lot in this deck. So you need just a Regalis piece resource, I would say, like this, to be able to get back some of those cards that you use. And then the trigger lineup going for the 8 critical, just for the fact that we have triple drive, and then we can, take the chance with our Vanguard, because the power that we give to our Vanguard would go to our rear guard as well. So no hesitation when we have to break a, guard shield that our opponent put down. The 3 draw triggers, which are the Baratois for the additional +5 shield. And then we're going with the generic Georgina heal triggers, just for less restriction on what we need to guard with. And then our over trigger being the Katrina for added power to our rear guards permanently the earlier we reveal this as our over trigger. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. We really have gone through the good majority of new decks from the Dragon Soul Resonance Booster Pack. So happy to now be working on some of the other less supported decks for the booster set that got support, and just, needed that extra support to be able to utilize more of a modern format for the card game as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.